if Deontay Wilder was a white guy, you know damn well 78 Sports TV would be crucifying this guy right now. God forbid if he was like a Ukrainian dude. If Deontay Wilder was a Ukrainian dude, you wouldn't hear the end of it. 78 Sports TV would be making like 30 videos on a daily basis talking about how this guy's a hype job, he ain't shit. He can't compare to any of the black American heavyweights of the past. Now, don't act like you don't know what I'm talking about. Don't act like you don't know what I'm talking about. Don't be like, what are you talking about, McGregor? What are you talking about? Why you have to bring race into this? Why you have to bring race into this? Because whenever I make a video about stuff like this, I always have people telling me, like, why do you have to bring race into this? Why do you have to bring race into this? Don't do that, because when it comes to guys like 78 Sports TV, this guy blatantly always bashes white fighters and does nothing but praise black fighters and shit. And no one says nothing about him. No one says nothing. But God forbid I make a video talking about how this dude is a black supremacist and some shit. Oh, I never hear the end of it. I'm all of a sudden Hitler. You know, I'm the worst thing in the world. You know what I'm talking about. When it comes to guys like 78 Sports TV, 78 Sports TV is one of them type of dudes that, because a lot of people think he's like a patriotic, he's like basically a patriotic boxing fan. He only supports American fighters. That's not the thing when it comes to 78 Sports TV. 78 Sports TV is not a really patriotic boxing fan. He's more of a only black fighter boxing fan, if you get what I'm saying. Like, this is a dude that, like, I don't know if you noticed about him, but this is a guy that literally all he does is praise black fighters. You don't. That's why I say he's not patriotic. You don't even have to be an American. You just have to be black. As long as you're black, he'll talk highly about you. That's the way he is. And if you notice, when it comes to like guys who aren't black, for example, especially guys who are like from the Ukraine, Russia, he's always criticizing them. You notice how every time a guy who's not black is listed in the pound for pound list, or every time a guy who's like white is considered like the best in his weight division, you notice how 78 Sports TV always got to make like 30 videos talking about, letting you guys know how this is so untrue. He did it with Sergey Kovalev. When people were saying Sergey Kovalev was the best light heavyweight, he was crucifying him, making video after video crucifying him. He did it with Canelo Alvarez when they were saying he was the best, one of the best fighters. They crucified him. He did it with what's his name? Of course, Gennady Golovkin. I mean, this guy's been crucifying Gennady Golovkin. Meanwhile, Gennady Golovkin. This is how you know a guy is biased as fuck and a guy has a problem with certain races, because 78 Sports TV has made videos crucifying Gennady Golovkin, fucking crucifying him, making videos saying this guy ain't shit, he's a piece of shit, he can't compare to the great middleweights, right? Crucifying this guy. He's been doing this for years, saying how this guy is overrated, he has a bum-ass resume. But this is the same guy who will then kiss Wilder's ass. He will kiss Deontay Wilder's ass, and he will act like this guy's the best heavyweight in the world, and he will act like everyone's ducking him. Yet when it comes to Gennady Golovkin, he says that Gennady Golovkin's the coward. He says Gennady Golovkin is ducking everyone. He says Gennady Golovkin has a overrated resume. But the problem with this logic, 78 Sports TV, is that Gennady Golovkin has a better resume than fucking Deontay Wilder. Gennady Golovkin has actually been in there with guys like David Lemieux. Gennady Golovkin has actually been in there with guys like Danny Jacobs. Gennady Golovkin has actually been in there with guys like Canelo Alvarez. So this is a guy who's actually fought top guys. Yeah. He's actually fought top guys. You can't say the same about Wilder. This is why I say he's one of those I only support black dudes. Fuck any other race who's not black, because what he does is he criticizes particularly European fighters, guys who are basically white. Like, it's just amazing. I mean, he'll make videos shitting all over Vasily Lomachenko, saying how Vasily Lomachenko was ducking. Remember that? Remember when he was saying Vasily Lomachenko was ducking Guillermo Regan now? You guys remember that? He was saying that shit. He was saying Vasily Lomachenko was ducking Guillermo Rigondeaux. He was crucifying Vasily Lomachenko. He was calling him a coward, a hype job. And look at what happened. Look at this big ass dog, cat dog, whatever he is. And look at what happened. Here he was spending all this time criticizing Vasily Lomachenko, calling him a coward, saying he don't have the balls to fight. Remember that? Remember how he spent like a month saying that he don't have the balls to fight? And whatchamacallit, Vasily Lomachenko is white. And look what happened. He's now fighting Guillermo Rigondeaux. Now you notice how 78 Sports TV is quiet. You notice how he's hush hush, right? Because from the start of this year he was calling Vasily Lomachenko a coward, a pussy, all this shit. But now he's hush hush. He's hush hush because Vasily Lomachenko proved them wrong and he's fighting him. Like when Gennady Golovkin, he was talking about how Gennady Golovkin's a coward. He's afraid of everybody. He ain't a true champion. And Gennady Golovkin has fought guys like Danny Jacobs and shit. And then he'll praise Wilder. Like, he'll fucking praise Wilder. Meanwhile, Wilder has a worse... It's crazy. Like, he'll praise Wilder, but Wilder has a worse... And he'll shit all over Vasily Lomachenko and Gennady Golovkin, yet Wilder has a worse resume than both of those guys. And Wilder's been ducking guys way more than any of these guys. At least these guys fought. If they did... I'm not saying they never ducked anyone, but if they did duck, at least they fucking fought some motherfuckers. It wasn't like they just... spent their whole, it's not like they have nothing but bums in their resumes. They've actually fought dudes. And when it comes to like, but it's just crazy how hypocritical 78 Sports TV can be. This guy will literally make videos talking about how Gennady Golovkin's ducking everybody. He ducking Charlo. He ducking Sandy Laura. He ducking all these dudes. Vasily Lomachenko ducking Guillermo Rigondeaux. Yeah, this motherfucker. Well, then in the same day, he'll make a video saying that Wilder ain't ducking no one. Wilder is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Yet Wilder has the worst resume that I've ever seen in my life, dude. In my lifetime, I've never seen a resume as shittier as Wilder. And then he'll talk about like, but Harrison and Laura is ducking. Gennady Golovkin's terrified of Harrison and Laura. Bitch, have you seen Harrison and Laura's resume? This guy's been fighting nothing but bums for the past 4 years. Like, this guy's high on Harrison and Laura. Harrison and Laura has been cherry picking nothing but bums. So it seems as though, that's why I tell you, he's one of those guys that he's like a black supremacist. He doesn't care about the resume. If you're black, he doesn't care about the resume. Like, if you're white, whole different subject. Then he's all biased and shit, and he'll expose you and shit. But if you're black, you could have the shittiest. If you're a black fighter, you could have the shittiest resume, and he will fucking defend it. He'll defend it. He'll defend it because he's black. So, and because, like I said, he's one of those guys that thinks black people are superior to all people. So he'll defend it, and he wouldn't care if the guy has a shitty record. Like, you could literally have. You could literally be a fighter that has like 35 losses, but if you're black, he'll defend you and say you're the best and shit of your division. I've always felt that 78 Sports TV is one of those guys that has a problem with people who are not black. Like, it's obvious. Like, he has some type of issue. Maybe a dude, a Ukrainian dude or some white dude took his girlfriend when he was like in high school or some shit, and he never forgave him or some shit. But the dude cannot give credit to guys, no matter how stacked the guy's resume is. The dude cannot give credit to guys that are not black. The dude cannot give credit to them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll never forget. Like, when it comes to like, what's his name? Vasily Lomachenko. To this day, he shits on him because he didn't fight. What's his name? Of course, that guy. He didn't give Orlando Salido a rematch. He'll shit all over him. Vasily Lomachenko could wipe out the 130-pound division. He could become the unified champion. He could destroy Gervonta Tank Davis. He could destroy Gennady Golovkin. He could move up to 135, destroy Mikey Garcia, and this dude will still come back talking about how what's his name? Vasily Lomachenko never gave Orlando Salido the rematch. Therefore, he a hype judge. I ain't gonna give him credit. Like, get the fuck out of here. Meanwhile, he praises guys like Bernard Hopkins. Meanwhile, when Bernard Hopkins got schooled against what's his name, Roy Jones Jr., and Roy Jones was begging for a rematch because he was talking all this shit. What did Bernard Hopkins do? He waited 17 years to give him a rematch because he knew he couldn't beat Roy Jones in his prime because Roy Jones kicked the shit out of him. Yet you don't see 78 Sports TV saying shit about that. Hypocrite as fuck, man. Hypocrite as fuck. What the hell is this shit? That's what I be saying. Like, this dude, man, hypocritical. And then, like these guys, like 78 Sports TV will fucking be this is why I call him a hypocrite. Like, he'll be making videos disrespecting guys. Like, he'll be making videos saying Gennady Golovkin is fighting smaller men like Kell Brook and shit, and all this nonsense. Yeah, at the same token, he'll make a video talking about praising Bernard Hopkins. Yeah, Bernard Hopkins spent his entire career I mean, his biggest wins came against smaller men. When he fought, when Bernard Hopkins became the unified middleweight champion of the world, it was against a former welterweight in Felix Trinidad. Yeah, you see 78 Sports TV praising his ass for that. When Bernard Hopkins beat Oscar De La Hoya, Oscar De La Hoya was a smaller guy. He was a guy who turned pro at lightweight, 140 pounds, or 100, even smaller, 135 pounds. But you see, but you don't see 78 Sports TV criticizing him because Bernard Hopkins black. And then like this guy has this thing when it comes to like another thing that I never understood is like when it comes to like this whole thing where coon, because a guy is if a guy is black, basically when it comes to guys like 78 Sports TV, according to him, if you're black, you can't criticize if you're black, you can't criticize black fighters because that makes you a coon, that makes you a sellout, all this type of nonsense. If you're black, you can't say that you can't say nothing bad about a black fighter or anything because that makes you a sellout. That means you are for the white man and shit. And I just think that's so fucking stupid. Like, also guys like DCB with his whole, you can't, if you're black, you can't smile with other white people. If you can't like basically you can't have a good time with white people because if you fucking do, you're basically a sellout. That's so fucking stupid. That's like if I see a Spanish dude and I see him smiling with a black dude and I'm like, you a fucking sellout. You are a black man living. Like, what type of shit is that? You know what I'm saying? You look at me like I'm fucking stupid and retarded. But that's the thing with these that's why I can never like be, and I can never support the LDBC. I can never be like one of those LDBC dudes because the things they believe in and shit is just so stupid. The things that these guys believe in, I just think it's ridiculous, and it doesn't make sense. And honestly, it's just it's stupid, man. I don't get this whole coon logic. I don't get this whole only defending black fighters. I'm not saying they all do that. Some of them don't. But a lot of these guys are like literally pro-black. Like if you notice, 90% of the LDBC members are black, and I always felt like 78 Sports TV created the LDBC to separate himself from like white boxing fans or shit, and just like create a community full of black boxing fans. Because if you look at the LDBC, let's be real. Like, come on, let's not sugarcoat this. You know I'm a realist. Like 99% of LDBC members are black. You mean to tell me there's no white guys that are LDBC members and shit? It's because this guy only recruit, like, now he's expanding with NBTBOXING, but I'm telling you, this guy, like, I always felt like he was, like, a black supremacist that, he just wants to, like, be all black, and he's basically, like I keep repeating myself, I know, but he's basically that guy that, just talks highly about 78 Sports TV. I mean, talks highly about black fighters, and like I said, if Deontay Wilder was black, I'm telling you, 78 Sports TV would be crucifying this dude. I'm telling you, he would crucify him. He would be making videos calling him a hype job only because he's black. Are you kidding me? I know this because if he's making videos calling guys like Gennady Golovkin a hype job, and Gennady Golovkin actually has fought some top quality opposition, what do you think he'll do if Wilder was fucking white? He'll be making videos crucifying Wilder. He'll be saying Anthony Joshua will destroy Wilder. Wilder is the biggest hype job since Rocky Marciano. Because again, when it comes to 78 Sports TV, it's not about skill set. It's just about race. You could be the worst skill set of all time, the worst heavyweight of all time. But if you're black, he'll he'll turn a blind eye to it, and he'll just defend you all day, every day. And if you're white, he'll criticize you. That's what I'm saying. If Deontay Wilder was white, he would fucking criticize the shit out of this dude. There wouldn't be no LDBC for Wilder and no support for Wilder. They would just be all shitting all over him. Him and all 78 Sports TV and all his recruits, all his foot soldiers, all his followers, mind slaves. None of these guys would be supporting Wilder. They will be criticizing him. And that's the difference between like a pro-black, only defend black channel, like the LDBC's guys, and a guy that isn't biased. A guy that isn't biased doesn't just praise black fighters, black fighters, black fighters. He could praise white fighters. He could praise all different type of ethnicities. I mean, look at me. I praise all type of fighters if they're doing good. I praise black fighters if they're doing good. I praise white fighters if they're doing good. I don't care where they're from. I'm not a patriotic fan either. I don't care if they're from America, UK. No matter. That's how you know a guy, if a guy is you wanna know if a guy is biased or not. If you go to a guy's boxing channel and all he does is criticize white fighters and all he does is praise black fighters, that means he's one of those black supremacists, and he might be a down low racist. And the same thing goes for the other way around. If you ever go to a channel and you see a guy just criticizing black fighters and praising white fighters, he is one of those. He might be a down low racist, and he is one of those guys that he might be a white supremacist. That's the difference between biased channels and unbiased channels. Again, it's just a turn off for me. That's why, like, I don't tend to subscribe to guys. I never subscribe to people or watch people who only praise a certain race. I can't do it, because it's like, okay, this guy has an agenda. He's just all about his race. He's all about black fighters, or this guy's all about white fighters. I always subscribe to guys or watch guys that talk to that aren't like that aren't biased, don't just focus on their race and shit. They don't care about the person's race. They care about the skill sets, the resume. Because that's how I am, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, guys, that's all I have to say. This is a bit of a long video, but hey. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys ever want to play with me, just add me, give me on PS4. My PSN is McGregor731. You guys know how I am. I be playing online a lot. I be chatting. I be wrecking motherfuckers online. So yeah. That's all I have to say, guys. I'll see you next time.